Okay, I'm going to demonstrate what I think is an important part of martial arts training, because you can have many techniques and feel that you're really improving, really feel that you're gaining in speed and explosiveness, but how do you really determine that? And this was something that Bruce Lee felt was very, very important. Even back in the early years, we used to use a timer from the University of Washington that allowed us in thousands of seconds to determine how quick we could react and how quickly we could move. So what I did is I designed a particular timer that fit my sort of training so that I could determine the little elements that made me faster, that allowed me to know that if I got into a real life situation, what particular method of stance, how I would hold my breath or exhale, muscle tension, angle, all of these factors, what was the best to allow me to be successful if, say, I went against a gun and where you only had 1/10 of a second to pull the trigger. So in order to know this, I've got to have a toy to play with that will tell me whether I'm improving or not. So what we have here is we have what is called a reaction timer or a motion timer. Well, it's a reaction and a motion timer, but first I'll show you the motion. You can do this with the foot or the hand, but for simplicity purposes, I'm going to show you just the hand. By the foot, I mean that you can show how fast you can close or how fast that you can kick. They both really work the same. This is referred to as a micro switch trigger that allows me to set up the timer so that when I move from point A, which is the trigger, to point B, which is the target, how long did it take me to travel that distance in thousands of a second? So that as soon as I depress this, I've set up the whole system for the timing duration. As soon as I lift my finger, it shows the time that it took. Now, what I'm looking for, kinetic motion with exhaling, kinetic motion with holding, kinetic tension, tightening up my muscle and then releasing it, holding, like maybe I'll hold or touch some part of my hand, load my energy. Are any of these different? What particular position, what particular action is going to allow me to be the fastest? And the timer is what tells me this. So it is a very important part of your training. It won't tell you how hard you punch. It will just tell you how fast you move from where you started to what you have as a target.